Hi, folks. Rick Berube here on this election day. Okay, I don't care who you vote for, just vote. It's your right. And so far today, we've had tremendous turnouts all across the country. I think they're saying almost as many people have voted already as voted last time. It's going to well exceed, which is great. Love to see everybody exercising their right to be an American and voting. Great job. Today, we have a very special treat today on this election day from the lovely state of Arizona, the Goodyear area. Used to be the manager of Goodyear office, real estate extraordinaire, wonderful coach, and now back into the grind again. Susan Kraemer, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! As you can hear, Susan, the studio audience goes crazy for you. All right, well, hey, everybody in AZ knows who you are, but what about California and Nevada? So give them a little history of yourself, how long you've been doing this, and all that good stuff.
Okay. I got my license in Colorado in 1997. Worked for a small company for 2 years, then opened up my own real estate company. And I ended up selling that company 3 years later when we moved here to Arizona. That last year I was in Colorado as a $17 million producer. Came to Arizona, started my real estate career here, and found out my real love and passion at that time was coaching agents. So until October of last year, I was managing different offices, everything from an office where I started with two, growing offices up to over 320. So last October, I just really decided that I want to go back into real estate full time. So I did, took a couple months off and came into real estate just in time for COVID to hit.
Ha 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 ha. Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Yes. And we know, and we saw you have your wonderful assistant Chuck with you. I saw him a little few minutes ago.
He's around the corner.
That's great. Yeah, you know what? It's such a great, and you know, it's really interesting because let's face it, as a manager, you went out on a high note. You had production, new agents hired. We just opened up the new location, and Susan goes, "Okay, time for me to semi-retire and get back into real estate." Good for you. It's always to go out on a high note. So tell us a little about like what are you doing? Like what's your goal this year or next year, and how your production level is going? Because I know you've been busy. I've seen the reports.
Yeah, well, having been a manager for 16 years, I had virtually no sphere of influence because I was managing. I didn't actively sell unless it was a friend. So for me, I felt like I was a brand new agent. So
Right.
when I got into this, I started doing, expireds and cancels. I did a lot of open houses for other agents. I'm a huge fan of farming. So I farm about 800 homes here in where we live. And then just really starting to get better at using social media and then reaching out to other agents that I know, whether they're in the business or whether they are no longer in the business. So that's really where my business has come from since
Mm.
I really kicked things up in January.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you can see that, and you know, as a manager and doing the stuff and you already were doing social media, at least I would say, you know, well, actually, as
A
one of the
little
managers,
bit. Yeah, a
yeah,
little bit. Yeah.
you were doing a decent amount as a manager as well. So it's kind of, well, I guess the best way to say this is you had to start doing everything you were teaching for 16 years yourself and recreating the wheel, right?
Exactly. Yeah, if I had come into this business and go, well, I don't know what to do, I think I would have been a little bit of a fake as a leader and manager because I was saying, here are the things you do. And if I don't do that myself, I don't think there's much credibility with that. So, yeah,
Right. So you got right back into it. How's it been going? You've been enjoying it?
good. So, I'm such a creature of habit. So for me, on a daily basis, I get up, I do my reading, I do my motivational stuff. I'm checking expires and cancels. I mean, I have things that I have to do on a daily basis that I know will make a difference. So doing my handwritten notes, reaching out to my sphere, following up, to me, I've got that to-do list that has to happen every day in order for me to be able to do what I want to be able to do in this business.
Good. So you're taking your own advice and getting that stuff done. I love it. Isn't it great?
And
Now,
I
did it
am.
take you a little while to create the habit and the discipline, or did it really hop right in for you?
No, that for me is, if anything, I probably have to, now that I'm working from home, I have to be, I am really focused on when I end my day.
Ah,
So for me, it's very easy to just slip in here and say, oh, I'm just going to do a couple of things and be here for 3 hours. So I really do, I'm up, I'm at my desk in the morning doing all my reading, but I really try and end my day by about 4:30 to 5 o'clock.
yeah, and for everybody, that is not a fake backdrop like me.
No, this
That
is
is
my
actually, sorry,
office.
Paul. Sorry, Paul. It's a beautiful backdrop I have, yes. But yours is the real deal. That's actually your office at your house. Looking good. You look organized.
I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
I am. Systems are big to me.
You're organized as a manager too, so this is great.
Yeah.
All right, with so and I mean, even with the pandemic, you probably have noticed. I know you picked a perfect time, like you said, but the market is still crazy. It's cranking, right?
It is. And so I think, it used to be with a seller, I would sit down with them and it's like, Rick, we're going to put your house on the market. The market is saying that we really ought to put it on the market for 335. And you come to me and say, Susan, I'd really like to try this at 350. And for one of the first times, I will say to you, if you want to do that, we can try that. The market's going to tell us in 48 hours whether or not they're accepting that price.
Right.
So you're very lucky because this isn't normal. And we usually have to be much more strategic about pricing. But the market within 48 hours will tell us whether or not that's the right price.
Right. Isn't that great? It's true. And it's so true. The market has spoken. And that way, and it's really important you say that because I teach agents, as you know, in Success Series, never own the price. Because
Nope.
as soon as you own the price, then you're going to defend it. No, 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 we don't need to reduce the price. No, this is good. Because as soon as you own the price, you defend it, and then that becomes an issue. Because, like you said, when the market speaks, if the answer is no, you've got to adjust. I mean, how much have you had to adjust in the last few months, though, based on somebody being that exact example, let's say?
Of all the listings that I've had, I have not had one single price reduction.
That's what I figured.
Almost all of them have gone under contract within 4 to 48 hours. So,
Good.
yeah, I don't have, right now, I don't have any listings that aren't under contract. I had one that fell out on Saturday and we were back under contract Saturday night. And I'm working on 3 listings. Two of them I'm sure are going to be gone within 48 hours.
Okay. All right, good. I just want to let you know, Rachel says, congratulations, Susan Kraemer. You rock. Just so you know. That's why I put my glasses on because I cannot see without them.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Thank you,
yeah.
Rachel.
She's kind of special too, isn't she? She's great.
She
All right.
is.
So, all right. So, based on your experience and so forth, I can see you keeping them in the realm of reality, but pushing the envelope a little bit and getting people top dollar like that. And even if you go over a little bit, you're still getting multiple offers and so forth, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that becomes important that we are sitting down with sellers and saying, you have 8 offers to look at. And I'm
Right.
going to tell you, the one with the highest price may not be the offer you want to take. That may not be in your best interest. So, really letting them make the decision. And so I put a spreadsheet together saying, here's what your net's going to be. Here are the things that you need to kind of take a look at that what they're doing and let them make that decision.
Right. Good. I love it. I love it. So I just have to say hi to Karina. Hi, Karina in Texas. Miss you. She says I look very presidential today, and I did dress like this. Thanks for noticing. On election day, red, white, and blue. Proud to be an American. Vote for whoever you want. Just vote. So, okay. So I just want to ask you because I know that I'm sure your proactive way of being and the way you coached, and we're going to get into that in a minute. Since the business you've been doing, what percentage of his listing taken versus buyer sales right now?
When I started, it was pretty much 80-20 buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And simply because I didn't have that. Now I'm moved toward more 60, probably 65-35 listings.
That's what I
I
figured.
Yeah, I like listings. They bring business. You get your sign out there.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a big deal. And with buyers, I know agents know this. It is tough.
Yeah.
And I've had to think outside the box. I had some clients that were looking for a very unique property in a particular subdivision. We found one, but we knew it was a way overpriced. They wouldn't come down. And so I sent out a personal letter to 87 people in that subdivision saying, I really do have a buyer that
Right.
wants to buy. And so that house wasn't for them, but now he's going to be listing and he'll probably list with me. So we've got to get kind of out of our own heads and look at unique ways to go find homes for buyers.
Yeah. You have to have that pipeline of inventory, right? I mean, in today's market, when there's 5 offers on a property, it's a whole different experience if you're the listing agent versus one of the buyers of 5 others offers, right? It's like one in control, one not so much in control. So it's
Right.
good.
And like my transaction that canceled on Saturday, I got to put mine back under contract. I don't know what's going to happen with her because she
Right.
doesn't have another property to replace what we were under contract on.
Right. And if you're not brutally honest with the buyers up front and they don't get a home and they get frustrated, they only have one person to blame and it's not them. It ends up being you and they go with some, yep. So what is your goal for next year transactionally? What would you like to do?
So far this year, I've had 15 closed sales. I have 4 pending contracts and 3 upcoming listings. So my goal for this year is I'd really like to finish the year at about 20 and then next year to be at least 36 to 40.
Nice. Good for you. I love it. Susan Kraemer, rocking and rolling. All right. I love it. Okay. Great stuff. So, all right. So my favorite question, you know what it always is, you're a brand new agent. You're an agent trying to take it to the next level with all your experience and coaching. And I know that you've been involved in a lot of different programs and so forth. You have your own coaching program too, which I love. I have a copy of it you sent me. Thank you, by the way. What would be the 3 most important things, and elaborate please on them, that you would tell them to focus on?
So, I think I'm reflecting that you have to do that. I'm a brand new agent.
Yep.
So I think number one, the tools that Berkshire has, I think that we sometimes kind of get distracted by other shiny pennies
Yep.
and we don't understand that Berkshire has so many tools. So I
Mhm.
think doing that. The other thing is you have got to have a daily goal, with what Mark Stark has done with the company and really bringing down, getting what is your daily revenue commitment. You
Yep.
need to have that, and then you need to make sure that you are not allowing yourself to get distracted from that. And then the other thing for me is just the power of social media and online resources
Mm.
and understanding how, I didn't really have that when I first got into real estate. I would get listings then because I had a website, and that isn't the case now. Having a website is, it's kind of antiquated. So
Right.
using the things like AdWorks and, other social media, getting educated in that and using that. Again, Berkshire provides you so many tools to make that easy for you, but you do have to invest the time to get that set up.
Yeah. And not that we're company people, but we are. That VAC 2.0. Can you
Oh
imagine?
yeah,
First off, okay, so picture this. And how long have you been in real estate? What year did you start?
1997.
Okay, so 1997. So
I was
you
5. Yeah.
you started when the internet was a few years old. Good for you.
It was just coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I
Yeah.
remember, I always jokingly say when Al Gore invented it, you've heard me say that. When Al Gore invented the internet, he didn't really, but he tried. Anyway,
I
so
remember
when
that.
I started before the internet, and you mentioned social media. Remember this. If you started when we did, in order to get the same type of coverage that you can get today for free, you needed TV, newspaper, billboards, bus benches, shopping carts. Today, and you know me, when I started with the company, I was not big Mr. Social Media. Whoa, but things have changed because it works if you do it right. So I agree with you. Company tools, critically important. Basically, if you prospect and you set people up in the VAC 2.0, whether it be market reports or neighborhood reports or newsletters or a combination of whatever, and if you look at your job as filling that CRM with good stuff on autos, I mean, you can really kill it in this business, right?
Right. And, we're not the gatekeepers anymore. When I got into real estate, you had to come to me in order to get information on homes. That's not the case anymore.
Right.
So we have got to find ways to bring value because they're going to Zillow and all of these other sites. And we can very quickly look very unintelligent if we don't have that value. And so
Right.
that's important. And then I think the last thing for me is I am relentless in my follow up.
Yep.
So I think so many times we feel like we've been rejected if we don't get something one or two times. Research shows 12 to 18 times is when most people will connect with you. So for me, unless they tell me that they don't want me to reach out to them again, I just don't stop following up with them.
Yep. Yep. You understand the comment semi-stalker lead follow-up, because at first when you're doing it, it kind of feels like semi-stalker. But when you get used to it and just understand that it's part of the sales process and rejection is part of the sales process as well, then you kind of get over it.
Right.
Awesome. Awesome. So, I think everything that we've talked about today, plus let's face it, the other thing that the variable is that you guys have a tremendous amount of buyers coming in from all over the country, really. You have California, Washington, New York, Canada, all over the place. I think in the next year or two, especially as the pandemic calms down a little bit more and the vaccine, and you're going to see a lot more movement. So if you're an agent in today's market and you're only working with buyers, you'll always do okay. But if you can get that habit that you're talking about being a proactive, I'm looking for real estate listings type of agent all the time, this will be a whole different experience the next 2 years. Would you agree with that?
I do. And so I think we will have a leveling at some point. I don't know when that's going to be, but we do need to be prepared and really monitor our activities. The great thing is with people like you, Rick, kind of coaching agents, we're going to know that probably before most agents and other companies will know that.
Right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Just like you loved your job as a manager, I obviously love my job as being the VP of sales here, basically the company coach. You obviously love what you're doing, okay, in listing and selling. You have a tremendous assistant. Go, Chuck. We know Chuck back there. Chuck is behind the scenes, although he's very helpful.
I think
as we talked before. What's that?
I think he's eating my banana bread.
It's good. Everybody, I'm going to let a little secret out here. Before we started the call, you said, I've been at home even more since the pandemic. And me and Chuck have figured out that we really like each other. So this is good. Well, congratulations. Yep. Any final words of wisdom you want to leave these wonderful people, Susan?
No, the only thing that I would suggest, one of the things I do before I shut down my office at night, you will always see on my desk what my job is for tomorrow. So what are the most important things? And what that does is help me avoid getting distracted because I know what my top money makers are when I start the next day.
That is great. Yeah, you understand the billable hour concept of spending your time in the most productive areas. So that's great. Awesome. Well, Susan Kraemer, thank you very much for taking your time out today. Really appreciate it. This has been tremendous. I'm sure people have learned a lot. And once again, I am going to be in Arizona next week, so I look forward to seeing everybody soon. Thank you very much for your time, Susan. Appreciate it.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
See you, everybody.